So, before we get into your potential political ambitions, why don't we just go over a little bit of your biography, in particular, your career in law enforcement?
Sure. So I'm a lifelong resident of Broome County, born and raised here. I was raised in Shenango Bridge, went to Shenango Valley High School. I attended SUNY Broome, and I've been here. I started my career with the Broome County Sheriff's Office in 1992. I was 23 years old at the time, and I'm in my 30th year.
Have you always been on the law enforcement side, or did you start in corrections?
No. So I started on the law enforcement side. I was a deputy sheriff, assigned to the road patrol in uniform in a marked patrol car for about 7 years. And then I was promoted to detective. I worked in our narcotics unit as well as our general investigations. I was promoted to the rank of detective sergeant while I was in detectives, and I oversaw our narcotics unit in the detective division. It was around that time, Jim, when they stood up the Broome County SIU task force. At that time, we partnered with the Binghamton Police Department in standing that up. So I played a significant role in setting that up and getting it up off the ground and running for the task force, which of course is still active today. Very, very successful. They do great work. From there, I went to the lieutenant assigned to Highway Patrol, back in uniform, overseeing the patrol division, managing 35 uniform members of the sheriff's office, as well as the patrol fleet and the scheduling for the uniformed members. From lieutenant, I was promoted to captain in 2015. That's my current rank right now. The captain is third in command behind the sheriff and the undersheriff. I oversee the entire law enforcement division, which is the uniform patrol division as well as the detective division. In that role, I also oversee our tactical team, and I'm in charge of the accreditation process through New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services. The state sends you 110 standards that you have to show compliance with, and indicate that the department maintains that level of professionalism, good police work. So I've taken us through 2 reaccreditation processes. Actually, we're up for reaccreditation next week. There's a there's a sheriff coming to oversee our accreditation process next week and reaccredit us. So that's where I'm at now. And what has happened is, Sheriff Harder has indicated that he's going to retire at the end of this term, which ends next year in 2022. And he's not going to seek re-election. And so knowing that, I've given some really serious consideration and thought, spoke to my family and my close friends about it, about what is the next step for me. So it's something I've always been passionate about, and I would like to seek the Republican nomination to run for Broome County Sheriff. I'm still considering that. I haven't made a formal announcement, of course. It's just something that I'm kind of thinking through. I'm looking at the issues, and that's where I'm kind of, my mindset is right now.
What makes you think you'd be a good sheriff?
I think that I possess some unique characteristics. I have, as I've already mentioned, I have been committed to Broome County and the safety of its residents for 29 years. I'm in my 30th year. I think that I possess the ethical leadership that can move the office in down the correct path that it needs to go. I think that we are facing some challenging times currently with the anti-police culture that is out there, and I think that I can lead the department through those challenging times and with the correct ideology and the correct way to build bridges with the community, provide transparency for the office, and just continue to move the office in that positive direction.
Do you have specific ideas of changes you'd like to institute, or ways that you can help to bridge any gaps that exist between law enforcement and the community?
Yeah, certainly. I don't think it's any big secret that the biggest problem facing the sheriff's office right now is the correctional facility, and I think that's no matter who is elected as the next sheriff and who follows Sheriff Harder, they're going to have an uphill battle with the correctional facility, and I think that there's a lot of negative tension that it gets, and I think it's time to turn that negativity around.
Are you referring to the number of deaths, or are there other issues besides just the number of deaths of inmates that have occurred?
Well, I think certainly that has been cause for concern, and people have made light of that with the media. And so certainly I think that's one of the big issues that's facing the next sheriff of Broome County.
So Fred Akshar has a news conference scheduled for later today to talk about his future plans, and many people have assumed that he is going to himself run for sheriff. Does that in any way impact your decision now to come out and let people know that you're interested as well?
It does not. I wish Fred the best. Wherever his path may lead him, I wish him nothing but, continued success and happiness. But I'm on my own course, and I'm my own person, and I want to do what's best for the Broome County residents, and I want to do what's best for the Broome County Sheriff's Office. So that's where my mindset is at. My mindset is not on Fred and his current plans. My mindset is on Kate and Kate's current plans moving forward.
So do you have a timeline in mind? Are you giving yourself a certain amount of time to make a final decision as to whether or not to seek the nomination?
I think that you understand that this is a big decision, and a lot goes into it, and there's a lot of things to consider. And I don't think it's any secret that throwing oneself into a political race, of course, takes a lot of energy and takes a lot of commitment. So those are the things that I'm discussing with those closest to me and my team, and discussing, how best to move forward and what the best decision is. So those are the kind of things that we're kind of kicking around.
Safe to assume, though, that you probably need to make a decision before the end of this year so that you can hit next year, hit the ground running with fundraising, all that sort of stuff?
Sure, of course. As I'm sure you know, petitions will be next spring. And then, if there were multiple people trying to seek the Republican nomination, of course, there would be a primary in June. And so, of course, the idea is to, hit the ground running, make a decision, hit the ground running, and go from there.
All right, well, Kate, at this point, I think I'm good, unless there's something else you'd like to add that I didn't think to ask.
I can't think of anything.
All right, great.
Thank you.